No one was really ready when the voice finally came out of the silence. Not on a grand stage, not through an official broadcast, not even in the form of an exclusive interview, but from one simple post on Weverse that, in a matter of minutes, changed the mood of millions of people. It was JUNGKOOK, the youngest member of BTS, who chose to write. A few short sentences, without naming names, without symbols or emojis, but enough to keep the world silent. If you hurt him, you hurt me. I mean it. To some, the phrase may sound like just an emotional outburst. But for Army A community of BTS fans who have been watching their idols' movements closely, it's code. Signal. A statement that shakes, because it comes from someone who usually chooses to speak through works, not words. The world stopped for a moment. Weverse, the platform where BTS members often greet fans, suddenly became an emotional field. Thousands of comments flooded Jungkook's post in less than an hour. Tears, support, and disbelief come together in one big digital stream. The hashtags #ProtectJimin and #IfYouHurtHimYouHurtMe are trending globally. Fans reposted Jungkook's lines while uploading photos of memories between him and Jimin, backstage moments, laughter in the rehearsal room, to unspoken gazes as they sang side by side. They know who is meant. Even without a name, no one doubted that Jungkook was talking about Park Jimin, a silent gesture that cannot be ignored for weeks. The issue of Jimin became an increasingly loud whisper. He's been absent from a number of major promotional events, not seen at some important events, and his posts on Instagram tend to be full of lyrical code that implies sadness. The night before Jungkook posted the message, Jimin uploaded a snippet of lyrics from a ballad song that tells of feeling abandoned and betrayed. Shortly after, Jungkook and Taehyung are spotted at the airport, ready to fly for overseas activities. Jimin's absence from that moment reinforced the speculation. What the hell is going on? Jungkook chose not to be silent. Jungkook's attitude has been known to be calm. He rarely comments on personal matters openly. Even in interviews, he often chooses diplomatic answers. So when he writes something so direct and emotional, it's not just an outpouring of heart. It was an attitude, a fan wrote on X, formerly Twitter. Jungkook doesn't talk carelessly. If he's writing this, it means Jimin is going through something big, and he doesn't want to leave him alone. Fans' response. From grief to movement, it wasn't just social media that thundered. In the real world, fans move fast. Support trucks began lining up in front of the HYBE building, carrying messages of solidarity for Jimin and displaying excerpts of Jungkook's posts on LED screens. If you hurt him, you hurt all of us. That's not a threat. It's a declaration of love. The statement that this fandom stands not only because of the music, but because of the inner bond with the BTS members that is so sincere and real in their eyes. HYBE is silent. The world asks in previous controversies. HYBE was known to be quick in responding, either with clarifications or press statements. But this time, the silence was long. 2 whole days without a word. Korean media began to cover. Editorials sprang up. TV commentators raised this topic in segments that are usually reserved only for political or national issues. Rolling Stone wrote that this is one of the most powerful emotional moments in the history of global fandom. The Guardian called it a tipping point between corporate control and the artist's voice. Jimin's silence is louder than words. Interestingly, Jimin himself did not react directly. There was no response on social media. No message is implied. But he also did not disappear. The fans noticed. He keeps track of all the accounts he follows. It does not delete photos. He's not trying to get away. It's just shut up, and in that silence there is power. Sometimes, choosing not to defend yourself is the ultimate form of strength. One fan wrote, knowing that someone has already done it for you. What exactly happened? The news circulating from sources and mentioning that Jimin's solo project is experiencing problems. He wanted to perform in a more intimate and emotional concept, with live music arrangements and more honest lyrics. But the agency is said to prefer a spectacular concept, a big concert that can sell tickets massively. It was the disagreement that allegedly led to the delay. Jungkook, who is also known to be a perfectionist in music, seems to be unable to bear to see his bandmates constantly being held back. Jungkook draws lines in the sand for many. It's not just about friendship. It's about loyalty, about the courage to speak out when the system tries to silence. Point one columnist wrote, "This is not Jungkook, the obedient golden magne. This is Jungkook, who has seen enough injustice and chooses to put his heart at the forefront." He didn't make a big announcement. He did not start a campaign. It's just writing. But the writing shook. Moments from the past that are again relevant. Fans began to unpack the archives. The little moments between Jimin and Jungkook that used to be considered funny now look full of meaning. From laughing together backstage to looking at each other while singing emotional verses, they also reenacted a moment from BTS Proof concert in 2022 when Jimin said softly into the mic, "Even if no one speaks for me, I'm sure one of you will." Now, 2 years later, someone has done it. And not just anyone. It was Jungkook. It's not just about the two of them. What makes this moment even stronger is that the impact doesn't stop at Jimin and Jungkook alone. Fans feel this is a statement to anyone who has ever felt marginalized, who has ever lost their voice, who has ever tried to be silenced by the system. What Jungkook did today, wrote one international fan, is a form of honesty that challenges the world. And perhaps, in an entertainment world full of rules, scripts, and pretense, this kind of frankness is the boldest form of revolution. What's next? Rumors began to circulate. Will there be a duet project? Is this a sign that Jimin will take more independent steps? Will HYBE change their approach to solo artists? Nothing is certain. But one thing is clear. This moment will be remembered. Not only because the post went viral, but because it brought hope, flavor, and determination that are hard to find in a world too often ruled by calculation. And in the midst of that storm, Jungkook's voice still resonates. "If you hurt him, you hurt me." And since then, the atmosphere has never been the same. Jungkook's post became a turning point. There was no clarification from the agency, no official statement, but the world knew something bigger was happening. Jimin remained silent, but his silence was full of meaning. He appeared briefly in a cafe, without a word, but enough to make the hearts of the fans relieved. Later that night, he replied with a simple picture, a gesture that he heard, that he knew he was not alone. And Jungkook, with one short sentence, has created an invisible fortress around Jimin. Not just support, but protection. ARMY continues to voice solidarity, while the world awaits. What is the next step? There will probably be no big announcement. But now everyone knows. If you hurt him, you hurt Jungkook. And that is a message that will not be easily forgotten.